The first, Yuna 2, was a quadruple element flexible damage dealer with a land burst that applied re-raise. Where did those Japanese developers go? Where is that variety in Japanese units today? Songstress Yuna's Trustmaster reward is clothes of high HP, spirit, and some magic. It can only be equipped onto female units though. In exchange, it has a pretty impressive passive, boosting your female unit's elemental resistance by 20%. Her Super Trustmaster reward is an accessory. Somehow, someway, your unit uses the pixie dust to boost their magic, but it'll only be available to mages. Wait, this is just drugs, isn't it? Onto her active abilities. Elemental Power, Water, is only available at EX plus 2. It imbues water onto an ally, boosts their water damage by 60%, and then on the next turn, will automatically boost their water damage by 80%, and on the turn after that, it'll rise all the way to 100%. The cooldown is pretty evil though. Fill Burst fills her Burst. Magical Mask will give your team a whopping 99% magic mitigation buff. Carnival Can will heal your team, grant them an HP barrier, and a 75% general mitigation buff. Jitterbug will boost your team's accuracy, their burst gauge fill rate, and fill their bursts by a good amount. Battlecry Plus will give your team a whopping 160% double machine killer, boost their burst damage by 300%, and their stats by 400%. However, this ability can't be used until the 5th turn of the battle, and requires her burst gauge in exchange. Disenchant will switch to Machine Killer for a Reaper Killer, gives your team a 50% physical and magical mitigation buff against said species, and strengthens the damage modifier of her Brave Shift's Burst. This ability can't be used until the 3rd turn of the battle though. Matador's Song will let your team evade 3 attacks, and then for the next 3 turns, recast the effect so it refreshes. Passives. But for Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward equipped, Yuna gets Memories of You, the player, every single turn. And just the sheer memory of you will automatically restore your team's MP, fill their burst gauges, and regenerate 1 Esper Orb. She prefers to carry a single weapon, though she'll need help if she wants to carry anything but an instrument. Her normal attack has been changed to attack, somehow blinding the enemies and reducing their accuracy by 50%. At EX plus 2 she gets Warring Spirit 2. At EX plus 3 she gets 500 magic. Let's look at her Burst. It imbues water onto your team, boosts their water damage by 45%, their stats by 350%, and their burst damage by 250%. Time to change forms. Songstress Yuna's Brave Shift has a 2-turn duration and a 4-turn cooldown. Onto her active abilities. Aqua Whirl will deal self-chaining water magic damage that chains a Bolting Strike, and lowers your enemy's water resistance by 120%. True Electric Whirl is the same thing, but lightning and also weaker. Dream Pollen switches out the element for lightning, the Imperil for sleep, and also inflicts a 25% staff, rod, and instrument imperil. Passives. In this form, Yuna's gained 6 powerful killers. She's also switched her 2-handed passive for a more offensive angle, gaining more powerful stat boosts and meets half the cap to the chain layer boost. Her normal attack also deals self-chaining damage which can be imbued. Finally, she's also gained a huge amount of status ailment immunity. Let's look at her Burst. It deals self-chaining water magic damage that's much stronger against Reapers. Let's rank Brave abilities. They both do 2 separate things, in 2 separate forms. Raising Carnival Can increases the strength of the HP barrier, while raising Aqua Whirl raises its damage modifier. You'll likely be spending more time in her base form, so just by that, I'd rank Carnival Can higher. Time to make a damage rotation. On turn 1, cast Jitterbug. On turn 2, cast Jitterbug. Honestly, since you have multiple other units, you can really do one of the other ones if you can get more Burst Crystals. But if you can't, on turn 3, cast Jitterbug. On turn 4, use Burst. On turn 5, cast Disenchant. On turn 6, cast Fill Burst. On turn 7, activate her Brave Shift. Cast Dream Pollen if you don't have a better Imperil, and double cast Aqua Whirl. On turn 8, use her Burst. You switch back to her base form from here, so spend her time supporting until you get to a stage where you can use her Brave Shift Strength again. Once you get EX plus 2, you'll get access to Elemental Power, Water, and so you'd prefer to use that and Battlecry Plus over her Burst. You have to be sure to time the buff optimally though. So, EX2? EX plus 2 gives her Drugs, which has high stats. There's really nothing else to it, so it's just waiting to be power crap. But for the time being, high stats are high stats. More importantly, EX plus 2 also gives her 2 significant abilities. Warring Spirit 2 really helps Yuna given her big burst cost, and Elemental Power, Water, gives her the best water buff in the game. EX plus 3 is just stats, and expensive. So how good is Songstress Yuna? As a support, she's very powerful, boasting strong damage buffs, defensive tools, and other assorted effects, but is also very limited in some ways. While her base form can only cast one ability per turn, and their MP costs aren't cheap, the strength of her effects makes this a fair trade-off. The real big issue stems from her own burst costs and cooldown limitations. Disenchant and Battlecry Plus can't be used at the start of the fight, and the latter also requires a full burst gauge. Jitterbug and her burst regen is a powerful tool on most other units, but Yuna's own burst cost is very high, which isn't helped by her lack of passives otherwise. Magical Mask is honestly fair, given a 99% magic mitigation buff would be expected on a Grandis ability or something, though honestly it's not like an 8-turn cooldown is short either. In the face of Supreme Global supports, Yuna's glacial pace is just irritating, despite being effective. But what about her Brave Shift's magic damage? It's very good once you use the burst modifier buff from Disenchant, though otherwise without it, its modifier is much weaker than most Neo Vision Awaken units, so this is more of a necessity rather than an option. It's obviously much stronger against Reaper enemies, but even without that boost, it's on the higher end even without the need to hit the right species. Now, despite the fact that this all sounds great, it's held back by two serious flaws. Its element locked to water, and her Brave Shift has a skewed 2-4 duration. While these don't sound too egregious, it's what sets her apart from other top-tier damage dealers. Overall, despite Yuna's strong numbers in both forms, her lack of meaningful passives and unit limitations hold her back from higher heights. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe. Comment below if you summon Songstress Yuna. I think she's a great unit with strong support, but a bit too slow for my liking. Furthermore, with the units I've got, I need her at EX plus 2 to stand out from the other top tier supports, and that's a bit pricey. Not that I couldn't afford it, hehe.